YouTube, here's a guitar I sold a couple of years ago, and it's back in getting a restringing. Mad place for the input jack to go. Took a couple of attempts. Kind of goes in there, which is better. So this is Washburn G15v from 1987. Serial number 707, says Buffalo Grove, USA on the back. Not an American guitar, I don't think, but equally, it's not a Korean guitar. See the other G series, this is like, at this point it was still, you can't really see the paint job on it. It's got like dribbles of paint all over. Like some sort of crazy hand done finish. Which I've only ever seen on this guitar and the EC29 and the EC36, which are basically this guitar but a 29 fret version and a 36 fret version, but they've all got the same hardware and specs, and they say George Washburn Signature Series on the headstock. These are not the same as the normal G series guitars. I've played a few of the lower down ones, a G8 and a G1 and a G2, and they're not, this is nothing like it. It's the same shape, so it's the same design but definitely not the same factory. I'm not sure who makes this. It's not super obvious. I'm going to say it's Japan. It doesn't feel like a Korean guitar, but it doesn't feel, it's not a Fujigen. I wonder if it's like an ESP or something, like a small run factory. It just doesn't feel, I've got that many Japanese guitars from maybe not quite this era. This 87's maybe a wee bit late, but I'm not sure where it comes from. So this was my shredder. It doesn't have a tremolo bar, it's not in the case. I hope I didn't lose it, or I assume the new owner still got it, because its floydness is actually pretty good. So it's got like an on switch for each pickup, so you get the neck pickup on its own. I'll try and go to clean, I suppose, Ooh. Yeah, so clean neck pickup, middle pickup, both of them on, and then you can get all three on, and then you can coil split them. But you'll notice that this knob in the middle, which as soon as I saw this guitar I thought that's wrong. It isn't wrong. This is like a Clapton mid boost circuit, so this is an active circuit in it. If it's not, if the battery runs out, the guitar still works. It just doesn't have the boost, but there's a boost there, which really helps with bringing the single coils up to. Got a very thin neck. I think it might be an ESP. Just going for the only guitar I've got that's even remotely like this is my Kramer, which is ESP. But it's also round about the same year, so fashions do change. But as for distortion, obviously that's what I want. It's got the bridge pickup. The only thing I don't like about having three switches instead of a lever switch is you can turn the guitar off, which is a bad thing to do when you're going into a solo. You know, maybe accidentally selecting the wrong pickup for your solos. Oh no, that's not so good. But just turning your guitar off so you go into the solo and there's no sound. That's why I don't generally tend to fit the individual switches. Apart from the Turbo Lover, obviously, because it's got 6 or something. There it's humbucker. That's without the mid boost. I don't know why I sold this really. I suppose I've kind of replaced it with the RG. This is the one for doing all the silly stuff on. Pick up. With a boost. Actually, the boost, it seems to be one of those things that kind of makes it pick up something, but just kind of boosts it up to the level of the humbucker, I think. Of course, it's a very nice rosewood fingerboard. Of course, it might be ebony, but it's not. It's just nicer. Big, massive frets. And having the painted neck is a big thing, because that's the bit you see when you're playing it. It's not quite as it does have 24 frets, so it's kind of not quite as extremely pointy as the RG. It still kind of looks like a Strat, but with the Floyd Rose and the extra electrics. I mean, this was the top of the range Washburn at the time. Apart from the 29 and 36 fret ones, but I don't know if they were really classed as in the range. They were definitely Japanese, and that's the only ones I've ever seen with this paint job, and all the other bits are the same, so I think it comes from wherever they came from. And if they're making like 36 and 29 fret guitars, it's probably quite a small run factory, as opposed to being like, you know, a massive factory producing tons of them, because you'd have to be quite difficult to make a different length neck. You'd need to be subs involved. Really, it's got the super lowest action. But changing the strings on it, I just did it. I think it's probably the first time I've ever actually changed strings on a Floyd Rose when I didn't take the whole guitar to bits while I was doing it. So I did just literally unbolted the two strings, took one off, put the next one on, put the next one in, tuned it back up again, so the bridge sank and then it raised up again. I just did that with each string, and then it's restrung. Really not that difficult. This one is a slightly different. This is an aria. What does it say on it? Sometimes they do. Like 600, a Washburn 600T, not an aria. It's a Washburn, but it's the same as the aria Act something. So instead of, basically it's kind of similar to a normal Floyd Rose, apart from you don't have to cut the ball ends off. These bits don't unscrew, so it's a different system. It kind of, the string comes in like it does on a Strat block, and then it's got like a wee hatch with an Allen key to pin it down to stop it moving. So it is technically a double locking Floyd, because it's got these wee Allen keys in the top. That does give you a very flat bit for palm muting. I wish I did have an arm in it. I'm sure it had an arm in it when I had it. But it's not a bad price. The only thing about it is it's kind of there's a spring piece on the bottom, which I think is just a bit worn, because the actual fine tuners aren't very good. They're kind of alright, but I kind of want to take it to bits and bend the spring piece, because there's a spring that holds up the... that holds up the saddles, and I think it's just a wee bit bent, but it works fine. Really get the thinnest neck, the fastest neck ever. It's quite square in the back. Not like an Ibanez Wizard though. I think this might have been a more expensive guitar than, it was 87, so prime Ibanez RG, what that one there I've got, okay, this is a 2000 model, but they did make this very model, was the RG 470, round about that time. This would have been a more expensive guitar than this, I think. It's just got the fancy bits on it. It's got the fancy paintwork. It's got a painted neck. It's got binding. It's just a little bit more luxurious. I mean, look at the binding and the headstock, and it's not just Washburn. It's George Washburn. As played by Alex Lifeson, according to the brochure, and Dave Gilmore. This is also the new Paradigm strings. When I say new, a couple of years old. I've never come across them before. Paradigm. So they're meant to last longer, or no, they're meant to be more resistance to snapping, which is obviously good. There's a good video of Paul Gilbert and on Andertons doing it, and he's just putting the strings on and tightening them up until they snap. He's like, seeing how I'll put the E on, here we go, bang, 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 and it's like until it snaps, and then the paradigms go like an extra 2 notes before they snap. So there you go, if you're ever doing that. This is so of an era, this guitar. None of this, oh, it's like relive 1987, and we've reissued it. No, this is 1987 in a guitar. It's got everything. It's got the black hardware. It's got the pointy bits, the ultimate superstrat. It's got the Floyd Rose. It's got the HSS push-pulls. It's got the extra switch. It's got the mid-boost. It really is a super luxury guitar. You can imagine this, it's on a case in 1987 on the wall, like a glass case. But, oh, look at that. And people are buying the juniors, which cost a tenth as much and kind of look the same, but aren't. Actually, it reminds me a wee bit of my West Tone Prestige. I wonder if it's maybe just the binding that's making me think that. Well, it cleans up with that. That was me playing it with. I was actually watching a thing the other day to check it out. Manowar trying to break the world's fastest guitar. It's him and Joey DeMeo and Michelangelo Batio, the guy who plays the 4 necks at once. That guy who's really funny, actually. I think he's just never been in a good band, is maybe why no one's ever really heard of him. He just needed to be in a band, like a Dave Lee Roth or something like that, where you've actually got like a band, or Van Halen when you've got a band but they've got a really good guitarist, rather than just being a guitarist, woohoo! And then the rest of the band are kind of backing him. So he's now in Manowar, but they're doing 30 notes per second, and it's just it's at that speed, but it's or something like that. Quite funny. Maybe I really just like these strings a lot. Maybe it's rare getting a guitar and it's been set up by me, so it plays exactly the way I want it to. I think when I had this guitar, I just didn't know how to play it. You got to play it super flash. Nothing too silly. No, nothing is too silly. And even if you don't hit all the notes, it doesn't matter, you're shredding. That mid-boost circuit's really good. I assume that's what I'm hearing. Totally, that mid-boost circuit's great. I'm really missing the fact that this is a really good Floyd Rose on it that doesn't have a bar in it. I remember it being much stiffer than the other ones. You really had to well it, which means that you can really do the much better than you can with most of them, you know, because normally when you bend that note, now it's not doing it, so you can actually, without, when you bend this note, bending up these notes as well. And I can't hear it, feel it vibrating when I hit chords. A wee bit. We try things I don't normally do, so it's good. You'll be so bored of hearing that once I can do it. Yeah, this isn't a different league. It's not a normal. You see an awful lot of guitars that look very similar to this. Washburn Arias, anything from the late 80s, early 90s looks like this, but they're totally pretty much copies of this. This is an expensive guitar that just happens to look like what all guitars look like in the early 90s. It's don't be fooled by the fancy paint and all that. It's just a solid, just a Japanese guitar. From the, I mean, is it as good as the Ibanez RG? Like one of the fancier ones, one of the deluxe ones. I would have thought something like that's basically the same kind of idea. Slightly different neck profile. It's quite a flat fingerboard, maybe a bit like a Charvel or something like that. I'm not really sure. I'm sure there was was it this guitar? There's a Washburn that's got a special new type of this is also one of the first guitars ever to have, see how behind it there's you can't see because of the side of this room, behind it there's like a bit so you can actually bend the Floyd up the way. That was a big thing in the brochure for this. It's like, you can, it's specially routed at the back. This is one of the first guitars ever to be routed out behind it to take that, although arguments for whether the RG was maybe out the same year, maybe, with that feature. I know Steve had that monkey grip thing. I think the RG just had basically exactly the same as this, but maybe they managed to get this brochure out slightly earlier. Yeah. Enough pish. Rock on!